name is Eye Candy, and our game's name is iFrog Frenzy Saga Deluxe. So we brainstormed a bit and we decided that we wanted to go with a relatively simple game that's driven by gaze interaction. And what the user sees is a board with 3 frogs. And so it's sort of like leapfrog, but we want just one of the 3 frogs to get to the bottom of the board. But at the same time, we see another board, which is our opponent's board. So we imagine that there's an opponent that's holding a tablet with an eye tracker that's connected to our game. So it's a multiplayer game. And the other decision that we made was we're going to interact with the game with our gaze by we're going to use fixation, but not to engage the frog, but to actually suppress the movement of the frog. So when I look, say, at this frog, the other 2 will jump.
Yep.
All right? And that right there, that Raymundo is holding, that represents our gaze.
This represents the gaze, so we can just do a quick play test. So when I'm watching this frog, the other just advance. These yellow boxes are traps. In this case, I want the blue frog to win. So now I'm watching this frog. This frog goes. This goes. Also, the traps change randomly. That random is stayed there. So now I'm watching my frog, because otherwise, if it falls in the trap, it will go to the beginning. So the next turn, these traps just move. So because I don't want the orange frog to win, so I'm watching this frog now. This goes here. These frogs fall in the trap and it returns. The trap change. Now I can continue looking this frog happily. So the next step is going to be like that. Finally, I just have to watch other frog, and my frog will win. This happened at the same time with the other opponent, so the one that have his frog at the end of the tabletop wins.
Right? But
right.
Oh yeah,
so
that's amazing.
So you have multiplayer. Both teams are doing their own game, right? But you want the players to interact with the other game as well. So we made items. So you can find items on your field. So for example, if the crocodile is here, and say I am this player, I will have to watch the other player's field. So all of my frogs will progress, so I have to sacrifice a little bit of my gaze in order to pick up this item. Now I can use this item 2 ways. I can reset all frogs of the enemies, or I can reset 1 random of my own frogs. So this item will stay here. So again, if I want to use the item, I will have to sacrifice my gaze to move this item to the opponent, so the opponent will reset all its frogs. I could also use it on myself, but obviously it's only 1 random of my own frogs, so it's less effective. So that's the crocodile. The other 2 items that we have is the trap tag. For the next 3 hops, either add a trap to your opponent or remove 1 of your own at random. And the freezing trap, freeze a frog in place, 2 turns if it's your own frog, 3 turns if the enemy's. So that's it.
Yep, that's it.
And what makes this game really a little bit interesting and different is that when I'm gazing at my board, I can also gaze over to my opponent's board. And my opponent can cross his gaze onto my board. So you can cross gaze over this way. You wouldn't be able to do that with touch. So normally, if you were to both, you would have a conflict if you both touched the same square simultaneously. But here we could both gaze at the same square simultaneously, either on my board or on my opponent's board, and we can interact that way. Which I don't think anyone's ever tried that.